Imagine this. You're pouring your morning coffee, just like every other day. The sun's out, the TV's humming in the background, and for a moment you feel good, alive, capable, independent. But what if I told you that in the quiet routine of that moment, something else is quietly working against you? Not pain, not warning signs, just silence. Until it's too late. Each year in the US, nearly 800,000 people suffer a stroke, and over 75% of them are over the age of 65. It's one of the top causes of disability, and yet up to 80% of strokes are preventable. Yes, you heard that right, preventable. Not with magic pills or expensive machines, but with the smallest, most human habits: what you eat, how you move, when you sleep, and even who you talk to. I know this might feel overwhelming, especially if you've already lived through your share of health scares. You might be thinking, isn't it too late to change? Or worse, I feel fine. Why worry? But let me share something a doctor once told a friend of mine after his mini-stroke. The scariest stroke is the one that happens in silence. This video is for you, if you're over 60 and want to live strong and independently, if you're caring for a loved one and want to keep them protected, or if you simply believe that aging should come with more freedom, not more fear. Over the next 10 chapters, we're going to break down 9 powerful, science-backed habits that you can easily build into your life starting today. These aren't trendy hacks or overwhelming medical lectures. They're simple choices with extraordinary power. We'll uncover truths hidden in your kitchen, your garden, your sleep schedule, even in your heartbeat. And I'll be walking with you the whole way like a friend, not a doctor. Because this journey isn't about perfection, it's about direction. And small steps, done daily, can change everything. So if you've ever searched for how to prevent stroke after 65, best foods for brain health, safe exercises for seniors, stroke symptoms in older adults, then you're in the right place. Before we dive in, take a moment, click subscribe, and ring that bell. Not just for more videos like this, but for your future self, the one you're taking care of. Starting today. Now, let's begin. And where better to start than the most underrated signal of stroke danger: understanding what's really happening inside your body before anything even feels wrong. So, what exactly is a stroke? Most people think it's just something that happens suddenly: a collapse, a loss of speech, a frozen face. But that moment, it's just the end of a much longer story. A stroke happens when blood flow to a part of the brain gets blocked or interrupted. Think of it like a traffic jam in your brain. Oxygen can't get where it needs to go, and brain cells begin to die within minutes. There are 2 main types of stroke. One is called ischemic stroke. That's the most common. It's like a clogged pipe. A blood clot or fatty buildup narrows or blocks a brain artery. The second is hemorrhagic stroke. It's less common, but more deadly. In this case, a blood vessel bursts and leaks into the brain. Think of it like a pipe that explodes under too much pressure. Here's the chilling part. In both cases, you may feel nothing until it's too late. Some strokes happen during sleep, others while watching TV, and sometimes what people think is just a bad headache or feeling dizzy is actually a brain attack in slow motion. Let me tell you about Mr. Carl. He was 69, a retired math teacher. He walked every day, stayed active, didn't smoke. But one afternoon, while working on a puzzle, he suddenly dropped the pen from his hand. His wife thought he was just tired, but within 20 minutes, he couldn't move his right side. The cause: a tiny clot, possibly from dehydration, had blocked a small artery. Just like that, a man who never missed a morning walk was now relearning how to brush his teeth. You see, stroke isn't just about bad habits. It's about small stressors that pile up: skipping water, lack of sleep, too much salt, missed meals, stress that we swallow but never address. It's not one big decision, it's 1,000 tiny ones. That's why in this video, we won't just talk about symptoms. We'll talk about systems. The systems you can build, habits you can shape, to reduce your risk before anything ever happens. So don't wait for warning signs, because with stroke, the warning sign might be the event itself. Coming up next, the most overlooked meal of the day and how a simple breakfast swap could mean the difference between protection and risk. Let's start where most of us do: breakfast. And here's the truth: what you eat within your first hour of waking can either calm your brain's inflammation or quietly make it worse. After age 60, your body becomes more sensitive to inflammation, blood sugar swings, and hypertension. Breakfast isn't just fuel, it's information. It sends chemical messages to your blood vessels, your heart, your brain. So, the real question is, what are you telling your body each morning? Let me paint two pictures. In the first, you grab a sugary cereal, pour in some low-fat milk, and maybe wash it down with orange juice. Quick, tasty, and sounds healthy, right? But that combo can contain over 40 grams of sugar. That's like eating 10 teaspoons of sugar before 9 a.m. Your blood sugar spikes, then it crashes. Your arteries get inflamed, your brain fog sets in, and you're already on the back foot for the day. Now, picture this instead: half a cup of cooked, steel-cut oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds, half a sliced banana, a handful of blueberries, crushed walnuts on top, maybe, a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt, a dash of cinnamon. That's not just breakfast, that's medicine in a bowl. Let's break it down. Oats give you soluble fiber, which lowers cholesterol. Chia seeds are packed with omega-3 south that reduce inflammation. Berries protect blood vessels with their antioxidant power. Walnuts improve brain circulation. And that little dash of cinnamon, it helps regulate blood sugar. You don't have to be a chef. You don't need fancy ingredients. You just need to swap convenience for consistency. Because when breakfast works for you, not against you, you feel it. More energy, better focus, and a stronger heart. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for a box or a bag, ask yourself, is this helping my brain or hurting it? In our next chapter, we go beyond food into the simplest habit of all, water, and how dehydration may be doing more damage to your brain than you ever imagined. If I asked you what the most powerful, most accessible stroke prevention tool is, you might think food, exercise, medicine. But the answer might be in your glass, or at least should be. Water, the most basic, essential nutrient, and yet most older adults don't get enough. Why? Because after age 60, your body stops sending strong thirst signals. So even if you don't feel thirsty, your brain could still be dehydrated. And here's why that's dangerous. When you're even mildly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker. Thicker blood means slower flow and a higher chance of clots forming. In fact, studies have found that over 60% of people hospitalized for stroke were clinically dehydrated. I want to tell you about Barbara. She was 72, a widow, active in her garden. One summer, she felt a little dizzy after mowing the lawn. She assumed it was the heat, but what actually happened was this: her body was dehydrated, her blood pressure dropped, and a small clot formed. By evening, she was slurring her words, a stroke that could have been prevented with water. So what can you do? Start by aiming for 6 to 8 cups of water per day. If you're in a hot climate or taking medications that dehydrate, drink more. Keep a bottle near you. Set reminders if needed. Drink a glass when you wake up, before meals, and in the afternoon. And here's an important tip: don't count sugary drinks. Orange juice, sweet tea, soda, even natural fruit smoothies can contain more sugar than you'd think. One bottle of iced tea, 35 grams of sugar. A fruit smoothie, over 40. And guess what? Sugar dehydrates you further. It pulls water from your cells to balance blood sugar, making your blood even thicker. Try this instead: water with lemon or cucumber, unsweetened herbal tea like chamomile or rooibos, or warm water with ginger in the morning. Hydration doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be intentional. Because every sip is a step away from stroke and a step towards strength. Coming up next, a habit that takes just 10 minutes, but could lower your blood sugar, improve circulation, and protect your brain right after you eat. What if I told you that one of the most powerful things you could do to protect your brain takes only 10 minutes, needs no gym, and you can do it in your pajamas? Welcome to one of the oldest health secrets from Japan, a country where seniors walk gracefully, live longer, and suffer fewer strokes. The habit: walking gently after meals. In Japanese culture, there's even a phrase for this: sampo yoku, the joy of strolling. But this isn't just tradition, it's science. After you eat, especially carbohydrates, your blood sugar naturally rises. For young people, the body handles this spike efficiently. But after age 60, that response slows down. The sugar stays in your bloodstream longer, triggering inflammation and vascular stress. Studies have shown that a 10-minute walk after meals can reduce the blood sugar spike by up to 22%. That's not jogging, not cardio, just a leisurely, intentional walk around your home, down the hallway, or in your garden. Think of it like this: instead of letting sugar float in your blood, you give your muscles a chance to soak it up for fuel. You improve circulation, you lower blood pressure, you feel more energized and less foggy. I want you to meet Harold. He's 75, lives alone, and used to nap after every meal. Then, his doctor suggested a change: walk, just 10 minutes after you eat. It sounded silly at first, but Harold tried it, walking from his front porch to the mailbox and back, a few loops around the kitchen. A month later, his blood sugar dropped, his sleep improved, and for the first time in years he stopped falling asleep mid-conversation. So here's what I recommend. After breakfast, lunch and dinner, move, walk in place while doing dishes, stroll in your garden or living room. If the weather's bad, walk inside. Remember, it's not about distance, it's about consistency. No treadmill, no sneakers, just a body in motion, doing what it was designed to do. Let your food work for you, not against you. Coming up next, we're heading back to your kitchen, but not for a meal. We're going to look at one seasoning that could be quietly raising your stroke risk, one pinch at a time. Here's a quick question. When was the last time you thought about how much salt was in your lunch? For most people, it's not even a thought. After all, salt is flavor, it's tradition, it's everywhere. But did you know that excess salt is one of the fastest ways to raise blood pressure, especially after age 60? High blood pressure, also called the silent killer, is the #1 modifiable risk factor for stroke. And here's the scary part. Most of the salt we consume doesn't even come from the salt shaker. In fact, up to 70% comes from processed, packaged, or restaurant foods, soups, frozen meals, bread, deli meats, salad dressings, veggie chips. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults. That's just 2/3 of a teaspoon. But the average American consumes over 3,400 mg, more than double that. Now, let me show you the power of small change. Imagine you're roasting potatoes. Normally, you toss them in vegetable oil, sprinkle salt, and bake. That one side dish can have over 800 milligrams of sodium. But what if we flipped the script? Try this. Use extra virgin olive oil instead of vegetable oil. Add minced garlic and rosemary. Sprinkle turmeric for anti-inflammatory power. Finish with a splash of lemon juice. Result: less than 100 milligrams of sodium and more flavor than ever. Let's break down a few natural, delicious salt swaps. Garlic reduces blood pressure and adds depth. Turmeric fights inflammation. Rosemary, thyme, oregano support vascular health. Lemon juice or apple cider vinegar brighten flavor. Reduce salt cravings. Olive oil, rich in heart-protecting polyphenols. Your taste buds adjust in 2 to 3 weeks. What seems bland today might taste just right next month. So don't think of it as restriction. Think of it as rediscovery. Flavor isn't about salt. It's about what grows from the earth and what heals through your food. Up next, we step away from the kitchen and into your evening routine, because your brain's greatest healing happens while you sleep. And that late afternoon coffee, it might be working against you. Let me ask you something. When you think about stroke prevention, do you ever think about sleep? Most people don't. But did you know that up to 1 in 4 strokes happen during sleep, or in the first hours after waking? That's because while you sleep, your body performs a critical job. It stabilizes your blood pressure, balances your hormones, and clears inflammation from your vessels. But here's the problem. Poor sleep, especially irregular sleep disrupts all of those systems. Your stress hormone cortisol rises, your heart rate stays elevated, your blood sugar becomes harder to regulate, and over time, your body forgets what rest is even supposed to feel like. One of the biggest culprits, caffeine. After 2 p.m., you may think, but I've been drinking coffee for years, it never bothered me. That may have been true in your 40s, but as we age, the liver slows down. Caffeine that once cleared your system in 4 hours now lingers for 6 to 8 hours. That 3 p.m. cup of coffee, it's still in your bloodstream at bedtime, raising your nighttime blood pressure, disturbing deep sleep, and keeping your brain in alert mode. Let me introduce you to Helen. She's 68 and used to struggle with 2 a.m. awakenings. She thought it was just aging, but after cutting caffeine after lunch and dimming the lights before bed, her sleep returned. Her morning headaches vanished, and her blood pressure dropped 8 points without medication. So here's the plan. Set a consistent sleep and wake time, even on weekends. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Try a calming ritual at night. Chamomile or lemon balm reading, light stretching, or soft music. And remember, it's not just about how long you sleep. It's about how well and how consistently. Sleep isn't just rest. It's medicine, and you need it every single night. Next up, we move from nighttime to a powerful 1-minute habit that could detect a hidden condition, increasing your stroke risk 5-fold. What if I told you that the most powerful stroke prevention tool isn't found in a pill bottle or hospital? It's actually in your fingertips. I'm talking about your heartbeat. More importantly, your heart rhythm. One of the most dangerous and silent stroke risks is a condition called atrial fibrillation, or AFib for short. In simple terms, your heart beats out of sync. Instead of a steady thump-thump, it flutters, skips, or races unpredictably. Here's the scary part. AFib increases stroke risk by 5 times, and many people don't feel any symptoms until it's too late. But here's the good news. You can often detect it yourself with just 60 seconds and 2 fingers. Here's how to do it. Sit quietly, relax, place your index and middle finger on your wrist, just below the base of your thumb. Feel for your pulse. Count the beats for 15 seconds, then multiply by 4. But more important than the number is the rhythm. Ask yourself, is it steady, or is it irregular, jumpy, skipping? If it feels off, don't panic, but don't ignore it. Call your doctor and request an ECG, simple test that can confirm if AFib is present. Early detection means early treatment often. Just with medication. Let me tell you about Tony. He's 74, lives with his wife in Arizona. One morning, while checking his pulse like he'd learned from a YouTube video, he noticed something strange. His pulse would beat steadily, then pause, then race. His doctor confirmed it. AFib. Today, Tony is on treatment, thriving, and he prevented a major stroke with just his fingers and a few minutes of attention. So here's your mission. Check your pulse once a day for a week. Note how it feels. Write it down, because sometimes the warning doesn't come with chest pain or dizziness. Sometimes it comes quietly, and your own body is trying to whisper it to you. In our next section, we're returning to your kitchen, but this time we're prepping ahead so that you don't have to rely on willpower when hunger strikes. Here's a truth most people don't talk about. When you're tired, stressed, or hungry, you don't reach for what's healthy. You reach for what's easy. That's where meal prep becomes a stroke prevention superpower. It's not about dieting. It's about deciding once so you don't have to think later. Think of it this way. When healthy food is the default, your brain, your blood vessels, and your future thank you for it. Let me show you 3 easy, stroke smart meal prep ideas you can make in under 10 minutes. 1. Chia, oatmeal. Jars in a mason jar. Mix 1/2 cup rolled oats, 1 TBSP, chia seeds, 1/2 cup unsweetened, almond milk, a handful of frozen berries, a dash of cinnamon. Let it sit overnight. Wake up to a breakfast rich in fiber, omega-3s, and stable energy. 2. Fruit and nut salad cups. Chop apples, pears or grapes. Add a handful of blueberries or raspberries. Top with walnuts or almonds. Sprinkle cinnamon. Store in small containers, ready for a grab-and-go snack that fights inflammation. 3. Savory power bowls. Cooked quinoa or lentils, roasted veggies like sweet potato or broccoli, a drizzle of olive oil and lemon juice, boiled egg or avocado slices, packed with potassium, fiber, and heart-healthy fats. Here's the key. Store these in clear containers and place them at eye level in your fridge. So when you're tired, you don't have to decide. You just reach and eat smart. Bonus tip. Keep a grocery list stuck to your fridge with your go-to heart-healthy ingredients. When it's time to shop, you're not guessing, you're ready. Remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about preparing the right choice to be the easy choice. In our final chapter, we'll explore one factor that's often forgotten, but might be the most powerful of all: connection. Because stroke prevention isn't something you should do alone. You've learned about food, you've learned about water, sleep, movement, and even heart rhythm. But there's one final piece to this puzzle, and it doesn't come from your kitchen, your doctor, or your PILLBOX. It comes from your heart. In another way, I'm talking about connection. Yes, your social life, your friendships, the people you laugh with, walk with, call when you're unsure. Science backs this up. Social isolation increases stroke risk by 32%. Not only that, tit makes recovery harder, depression more likely, and healthy habits harder to keep. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 78, widowed, and used to eat dinner alone every night. After a minor stroke, his doctor recommended walking, but Frank didn't want to walk alone. So he joined a local senior center's Sunrise Walkers group. At first, he said nothing, just walked. But within weeks, he was laughing again. 2 years later, Frank has a lower blood pressure, more energy, and 3 close friends who call him every Tuesday. He didn't just recover, he rebuilt. So here's your invitation. Join a walking group, call a friend once a week, volunteer at your church, library, or food pantry. Even leave a comment below this video. We're building a community. 2. You don't need a crowd. You just need one person who reminds you you're not alone. You're worth the effort. You're still growing. Stroke prevention isn't just about blood and biology. It's about hope, momentum, and being seen. So let's wrap up. You've just learned 9 powerful life-saving habits: a healing breakfast, drinking more water, walking after meals, choosing herbs over salts, leaping consistently, avoiding late-day caffeine, checking your pulse, prepping smart meals, and, most of all, connecting deeply. None of these require fancy apps or elite gyms. They require intention. They require love for your future self. So here's what I ask. If you found this helpful, like the video so YouTube can share it with more people like you. Subscribe for weekly tips on aging well and staying independent. And leave a comment. Which of these habits will you try this week? And if you want to dive deeper, check out our next video, Top 7 Stroke Fighting Superfoods. It's linked right here. Until then, stay strong, stay curious, and remember, small steps lead to big victories. You've got this, and we're walking with you every step of the way.